YouTubers, well, I got another video review for you. This one's from a company called LIFAN. I seen them on Amazon. This is their 2300i-2 generator, and this one's supposed to be one of those quiet type generators, and it's fairly portable, and it does weigh probably around 40 something pounds. I'll test all that. I'll test and make sure that it's pure sine wave. I'll show you how to put oil in it. I'll tell you how much oil it takes, and I'll run through and just do a good thorough review on this. You know, I don't work for these companies. I'm in no way connected to these guys in any way, shape, or form. This is not scripted. I'm unbiased. I tell it like it is. So if you want to see, you know, an honest review on this inverter, make sure you check this one out. Now, this looks like it's going to be pretty decent, but I don't know. I've not dove into this thing. I just got it in the mail today. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick unboxing. Now, my first thoughts is, man, they sure did box it up pretty nice. Now, I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time on unboxings. I know that's pretty boring, but I'll tip it over your way so you can see. There is your manual, and there's your wrench, who knows whatever else. You've got the generator, and it looks like it's pretty well packaged good here on top. It's pretty thick with foam, and then I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's foam all the way around the generator. So if you do get it, you know, it would shock me if it was damaged and unless somebody just threw it or something. So they did a good job at packaging it up. All right, so I just wanted to tell you what all come with the unit. Comes with this owner's manual, and I gotta say, I just glanced through it. You know, I didn't spend a lot of time, maybe 5 minutes or so, just looking through there, and it actually looked pretty good. Everything looked like it was easy to understand, and you know, it looks like the spelling was pretty good. Now, like I said, I didn't go through everything, but I mean, there's detailed illustrations in here. It looks like it's probably one of the better manuals that I've seen. And then it also comes with this limited warranty. It says 1 year. And then you fill out this warranty card. It has an email address and a phone number. So, you know, that's a plus, because sometimes you never know, you know, if you can get a hold of these companies. Now, it did come with this little tool for your spark plug. Hooks onto the spark plug, and then you can use this little piece of metal to slide in here so you don't have to go get a wrench. So that is helpful. And then they give you a screwdriver. It's Phillips head on this side. Then you pull it, and it's flat on this side. That is handy. And then, I don't know why, but they give you these two AC plugs here. They both have the male ends on them, and they're both got the ground on them. Now, I'm not going to get into the details just yet and all the features. You know, with this generator, before you do anything to it, you're going to need to put oil in there. And, you know, on the last review that I did on a generator similar to this, it told me to put a certain amount of oil in it. And then when I did, it was too much. I think it called for 15 and something ounces, and I was only able to get 12 ounces in it. So I'm going to do the same thing with this generator here. I'm going to test it and see how many ounces of oil that it takes, see what it says in the manual, and then, you know, test it myself and see if the amounts are correct. You know, like I said, I'm going to do the homework for you guys. Like I said, this is not a biased review, so if it's wrong, I'll let you know. As far as like testing the generator out, I will put it to a test and make sure that it can do what it says it can do. Like I said, I'll put a watt meter on this and an oscilloscope and test make sure it's pure sine wave and puts out good clean power. Anyways, I'm gonna end this. This is, you know, just wanted to do step one as an unboxing. All right, so it's about a week later from whenever I did the unboxing and all that. And so I've went ahead and I've got a scale set up. I'm gonna go ahead and weigh it for you guys. You can see it weighs 42.7 pounds. Well, I told you guys that I was going to break this thing in, and I went ahead and ran it for a couple of hours this week. Didn't get to do the whole 5 hours like it recommended, but I went ahead and ran it a couple of hours. And I'm going to go ahead and do the break-in oil change. Just wanted to show you how I do it. Go ahead and remove the dipstick here on the side. You want to go ahead and just put it on something nice and clean and set it aside. You're going to need it here in a minute. And then I do all my oil changes in a 5-gallon bucket. For all my generators and things like that, I've got 3 or 4 of them, and I do the oil change in a bucket because it's always easier for me. I can put the lid back on this bucket, and then if I want to recycle the oil, I can, or if I want to burn it in my smudge pot, I can do that as well. Anyways, what we're going to do is try not to make a mess here, and we're going to lean the generator over to the side and try to drain the oil out. Whoop. Yep. I knew I'd make a little bit of a mess. I didn't realize it was gonna drain back up underneath it. But sometimes they do. And you can tell that oil's kind of dark for no more time that it's had on it, just a couple hours like I said. So it was probably already ready for an oil change. Alright, so truthfully, if I had to go back and do it over again, I would probably just set this on the 5-gallon bucket. So as you can see, I didn't make too big of a mess, but I'm going to go ahead and wipe this area up. And with that little plastic piece going up underneath the aluminum piece right there, it just kept the oil from getting everywhere. But if you do have oil that, you know, goes inside the case accidentally, there is some drainage holes on the bottom. Alright, so I got all the oil drained out of there, and I cleaned up my little mess that I made. And then if you look right here in the manual, it says that the engine oil calls for an SAE 10W40 with a SE or higher to the API standard. And it calls for 0.35 liters, which is 11.8 ounces. And so I went ahead and pre-measured my oil, and I use one of these little jugs here for you know, like mixing oil in a boat. And you can see right there that I've got 11 ounces, and I've set it on a flat surface and checked it and all that. So next I'm just going to go ahead and use a funnel that I already have, and this is a clean funnel, so I just washed them last week, so I've kept rags down in it to keep the dust out of it. So it's a nice clean funnel, and I know that it called for 11.8 ounces, but I'm just going to put 11 in it for now, because I've noticed sometimes that, you know, if you try to put 11.8 ounces in it or 11.5 ounces in it, you know, sometimes it doesn't take that much because there's a little bit of oil inside it already. So I've tried to get as much of it out of it as I can, but sometimes you can't help it. There's still some in there. Also, sometimes when I've did the oil changes on these generators, sometimes they don't tell the correct amount. So we'll see if this one is or not. Let's see if it'll hold the 11 ounces. I'm trying to take my time and not pour it in there real fast. Alright guys, so that's 11 ounces right there. Alright, I'm going to try to use the light from the camera to see how much oil's in there. And I can see that it's about to the bottom of the threads right there, so I can definitely see oil in there. So I'm going to go ahead and check it with the dipstick. You can see right there on the dipstick that it shows some little crosshairs, and so that should be the full mark. So you can see right there, it's right to the top of the crosshairs. So I guess 11 ounces was closer to where it needed to be. Like I said, it probably had a little bit of oil left in it, and it's hard to get all of it out of there. So just put 11 ounces in it and check it, and I'll show you again. What you want to do is screw it in till it bottoms out, and then untighten it. Alright, you can see the oil comes to just above, I mean just barely above the crosshairs. So that leads me to believe that can't get all the oil out of it, and you know, just to start at 11 ounces. So I'm gonna write 11 ounces on the little door, and that way I'll know next time how much to put in it. Alright guys, so I went ahead and changed the oil in the generator, and before I changed it, I went ahead and ran all the gas out of it, so when I turned it over on its side it wouldn't spill out. But anyways, I'm fixing to put gas in it. In the manual it called for 87 octane minimum, and I went ahead and got the ethanol free gas. You know, I suggested to everybody, you know, if you're gonna have any kind of small engine, make sure you run ethanol free gas, just simply because, you know, if you leave it sitting in there and it gums up, you're going to end up having to rebuild the carburetor and all that kind of mess. Just save yourself a hassle. And you know, I wouldn't even, you know, run anything in there other than that, unless you plan to run it out, you know, within a couple weeks or so. But I'm going to go ahead and put ethanol free gas in mine and put some fuel stabilizer in there. Then I'm going to go ahead and fill it up and get it going. Now it says that this thing can hold up to a little over 1.5 gallons of gas. So I found that to be pretty accurate. I haven't measured it completely out, but that's about where it falls. It's about 1.5 gallons of gas. Alright, so I just wanted to show you right here, this is your fill for your gasoline. This one has a really thick cap on it. You know, most of them are real flimsy, and it's got a screen on it so you don't get any contaminants down in there, and it looks like it's actually done its job. Look at that, guys. I don't know how well that'll pick up, but there's some sediment down in there. I guess my gas can wasn't as clean as I thought it was. Alright, so I went ahead and I put about a quarter tank of gas in it, and right here on the top you can see that there's a gas gauge, and I'll go ahead and say that, you know, if you don't fill it up about halfway, it's not going to really register on there. And I'm sorry it's hard to see right now, but it's a pretty nice looking gas gauge. It's just doesn't pick up very well with the camera. But like I said, you know, if you put just let's say a quarter tank of gas, it's not going to really register on the gauge there, so it's not that accurate. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start it up and show you that there's gas in it. I've got oil put in there, and the way that you start it is, you can see right now it's set in the off position. You can see that little notch right there is pointing to off. So what I want to do is turn it to the choke position right there. Make sure it's pointing directly towards that, and then I'm gonna pull it, and hopefully it'll start up, and then I'm gonna move it to the run position right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it cranked for you. And as soon as it started up, I moved it to the run position right there, and you can see that it started really easy. Now I'm gonna set it up here, and I'm gonna check the sine wave. Alright, well, you can see that it's a pure sine wave putting out clean power at 60 hertz. You can see right here it's a nice clean sine wave. It's kind of hard for you guys to see since the sun's glaring on the screen, but yeah, the sine wave looks perfect. I'm gonna set that down, and you can see right there it's at 123.4 volts at 60 hertz. And you can see I've got it probed for the oscilloscope on each side, and it's just run to a little jumper wire right there. I do it this way so it's a little easier for me, and so I don't get shocked. So you can see right there 60 hertz, 123.4 volts, and again right down here, nice clean sine wave. Alright, you can see right there, nice clean sine wave. And I hope you guys can see that. The sun is brutal out here today. Alright guys, so we're fixing to do a load test. And again, this generator here is rated at 1800 running watts and 2000 starting watts. So I've got a 1500 watt heater right here, and it usually puts out about 1560, somewhere in there, watts on startup, maybe a little more. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it on here in just a second. But I just wanted to show you right here on the watt meter, it shows 1.9 watts right now is being used, and that's for the LED light right here, the display light that says that it's plugged in and it's turned on. But I'm fixing to turn it on high, and as soon as I turn it on high, listen to the sound of the generator and how it's going to ramp up a little bit more. This will be on high, and then you'll notice over here this should jump up in wattage. Alright, so 900, 1000, 1100, 1200, 13, 14, 1586, 1699, 17. So running at 1700 watts, now it's dropping and stabilizing out. Now it's down to 1545, 1503, 1489. This thing's putting out heat, guys. I mean, it's awfully hot. And you can see the wattage right there is at 1435. So it's kind of stabled out right there. And you can see the generator's having no problems at all running it. And I also have the oscilloscope hooked up right there, and you can still see that it's a nice clean sine wave, even with a load on it. Alright, so for the next test, I've got this hair dryer plugged in, and I don't have it turned on, but I'm fixing to switch it on to fan, because right now it's about 1420 watts, and when I turn it on to fan, it should use probably less than 200 watts. So let's see how this thing does. Now keep in mind, I can't go over the 1800 watts or it'll blow my watt meter up. So right watch. And you can hear that the generator's, you know, it's handling it just fine. But what the hell, let's go ahead and kick it on to low heat, and let's see what happens if I do it on low heat. This should be about probably another 600 watts, so that should put us about 2200 watts. That's above what this generator is supposed to be able to run. Let's see if it dies down or if it's able to still run it. I'm gonna say it probably won't run it, but let's see anyways. You can see the red light up there. It says overload. So watch this again. When I try to put it on low heat, watch it say overload. So yeah, guys, it seems to run both of these. This one on low on fan, and the heater there on high. So again, that's 1600 watts. This thing's able to go up to 1800. But that's about as close as I can get to it. Let me go see if I can find something else to plug into it. Alright guys, so I want to do a real live test. So this is as close as it can get. I've got the heater running it right here on high. I've got a hair dryer running right here with just the fan running. And then now I've got a box heater right here, or maybe a box fan right here. I'm going to turn it on speed 1. That's 1650 watts right there with all three of them plugged in. Let's go to speed number 2. Jumped up to 1658. Let's go to speed number 3. 1666 watts. So we got 666 right there. That's not a good sign. There we go. Well, 1667 was the highest I've seen it go. But yeah, I've got all three of these plugged in at the same time, and it doesn't seem to have any problems running them at all. And there's no overload light coming on the generator right there. And you can still look right here on the oscilloscope, and it's still putting out a nice, clean, distortion-free sine wave. So I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with it. I mean, this is a real world test. All right, guys. So I've got a rigid miter saw here set up here in the backyard, and I've got it plugged in down there to the generator. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up, and I don't know if it'll run it or not, but we're going to try. Alright, here we go. Alright, you see it, guys. Let's try it again. So you can hear the motor ramp up, and you know, it stabilizes back out. You know, so it'll easily run a refrigerator, that's for sure. So if you're wondering if this will power a refrigerator, then the answer is yes. And you know, it'll run a TV and your laptops and all your smaller electronics safely, because it is pure sine wave. So this is a pretty powerful little generator, and it's fairly quiet as well. I'm going to go test the dBs on it next, so stay tuned. So next is the sound test. The way that generators are tested for their sound is you take, you know, a tape measure and go out 22 feet away from it. Make sure there's nothing around it that can alter or reflect the sound. And you know, so I've got it set up right here in a, you know, in my backyard in an open area, and it's away from the house and all that, so it can't reflect the sound. But I'm going to measure out 22 feet away from it, and I'm going to check it with a dB meter that I have here on my phone, and you can see right here how accurate that it is. When I shut up, look how it drops. So about 38, 39 dB, And then when I start talking, you know, it jumps up into the 70s. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and measure this out and get it started up. And we're going to just see how loud this thing is. All right, so you can see right there, there's the 22 feet. And then right out there is the generator. Now I will say that it is on the Econo setting. And let me go ahead and pull the dB meter right here. There we go. It goes from about 60, 61 dB on economy mode. Now I'm going to turn it on to where it'll run up higher, and we'll see what it is then. So yeah, it really didn't change a whole lot. You see right there, it's about 62 when I quit talking. All right, there's 63. So between 62 and 63. All right, so I just wanted to give you guys a walk around so you can see that I can talk around it and it's not super loud. But we'll walk around this way. Now here in the back, you can see that it's moving the grass. The exhaust is, and you can see down there the grass is moving quite a bit because it does shoot exhaust pretty good ways out. So now you don't have to worry about it with this generator because they claim that it has a carbon monoxide detector on there. So if it gets too strong with them poisonous gases, then it'll shut it down. So that's one of the features that I do like about this generator. You know, they usually put that on, you know, some of your Hondas and more expensive generators. You know, I've seen it on some cheaper ones as well, but you know, that's just one of the features that I like. This unit also has a low oil shutdown. So if you do run the thing low of oil, it'll shut down to keep you from burning the engine up. So that's also another good feature to have. So you definitely want to put the generator in a well ventilated area because it does have a lot of exhaust fumes that come out of the back of it. But as far as smoking, you know, when you first start it up, you know, when you get it, it does smoke some because I guess there's oil and stuff from the assembly process that has to burn off. And you know, you're going to get some smoke when you first crank it up, but I gotta say, it cranks every time. It usually cranks within the first 3 pulls. I can't speak for long term because I've not had it that long, so I can't really say, hey, this thing's going to last 15 years, you know, but I can say that, you know, in the short time that I've had it, that it has ran flawless. So I'll go over the front of it and all the controls here in just a second. Alright, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of the buttons and lights here on the front. We'll start here at the very top. You can see right there, there's an oil symbol right there, and then below it is the light. So, you know, if you start running low of oil, this thing will light up and let you know. And then this one here is the overload. You've seen earlier I overloaded it and went above the 1800 watt. And then right over here, it's the AC light, and when that thing is lit up green, it's letting you know that it's providing good clean AC power over to these 220 volt AC outlets there. And then it's got a nice cover that covers both of them, and right beside there is your earth grounding stud sticking out there. So if you want to ground it to, let's say, a lightning rod or something like that, if you're using this thing permanently, then you know, you can ground it. And then right over here you've got a positive and a negative, and that is for hooking 2 generators up together in parallel. Now you'll have to buy a cable to do that, but you know, if you do hook them together in parallel, then it does double your output. So that's why, you know, most of the generators have these 2 ports Now right above that, that is your CO minder, like I was saying, and this one has the carbon monoxide detector, and so it has an alarm on it, so this will all light up, and then if for some reason that there's a problem with it, then you can always reset it right there. There's a little button right there you can mash to reset, and then right over here, this is your reset button for the generator. So if you need to reset the outlets over here, let's say you've overloaded it, then that's a way to reset it if you need to. And then right here, this is your economy switch. Let's say you've got something that's not going to use a lot of wattage. Well, there's no need to run the generator at a higher RPM if you're needing something that just requires a low wattage. If you're running something that's going to draw a lot of wattage, let's see, like that chop saw or the miter saw that I was using earlier, you definitely want to have that turned off, because you know it's going to use a lot of higher wattage to get the thing going, and it's going to take a lot of power. So you would definitely keep it in the turn off position. And then right here below it, you've got a little rubber dust cap, and right behind there is your 2 USB-A ports. You know, I'm surprised that they didn't put a USB-C port on here, since most everything's going to USB-C, but you know, it is what it is. All right, a few minutes ago when I had it running, I meant to test the USB port and I forgot, but I'm going to go back and test it here. And anyways, I was telling you that it had a little switch on here where you could switch it to where it would run at a lower RPM in case you had something that wasn't, you know, requiring a lot of power. And so I'm going to go ahead and use it to test the USB port there on the bottom, and just to make sure that it works. You know, if you're interested in some of these light bulbs, they're from a company called VT Power. I always recommend them in my videos that I make for power inverters and generators and things like that. The reason these things are important is, like I said, you can power them with a USB-A port. They only use 5 watts of power, and they have a switch on, so you can turn them on or off just like that. Now you can power multiple of these lights from one USB-A port. You just have to have a splitter, and so I have 2 more lights here, and they're hooked into a 2-to-1 splitter. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in, and then now I'm going to go ahead and crank the generator. So you can see that it's not running very fast, and I'm doing that intentionally because this is only 15 watts of power. So there's no need in having this thing run at full blast and create a lot of noise for just a little bit of wattage, you know. So if you got a bunch of these light bulbs, let's say you want to go camping or something, and you want to use these lights to light up your campsite, these lights would be perfect for that. And they're not expensive. I'll put a form in the description down below if you're interested in them. But you know, for like 20-30 bucks you can get 4 or so lights. But like I said, they're not really expensive. So I just wanted to wrap this video up on the LIFAN 2300i-2 generator. I gotta say, you know, if you're looking for something to, you know, power a refrigerator and a power outage, this would be a good generator for the money. And you should be able to power, you know, your refrigerator and maybe a TV at the same time. You'll definitely be able to charge your cell phones and things like that as well simultaneously. So, you know, I think for the price, it's a pretty good bargain, you know, at $379, and that's what it is on Amazon right now. A few things that I found that I wasn't too happy about was like in the manual, it says, you know, in the manual that it uses that it takes 4 liters of fuel, where online it said 6 liters. So I wasn't going to dump all my new gas out and try to remeasure it and all that. So, you know, I'll try to get with the company and make sure that they make a correction on their online Amazon listing for the correct amount of gas that this thing holds, so it's not misleading. And you know, in the manual there was a few things in there that could be corrected, but as far as the actual unit, it seemed to run really good. Now, like I said, it does smoke a little bit when you first get it, but after you use it, that it'll quit smoking, because it's just this like assembly grease and oils and stuff that's on these metal parts, and once they start getting hot, it smokes. You know, if it quits smoking, you know, after you run it and get it warm. So anyways, I gotta say, thing seems to run really good. I hadn't had any problems out of it, and it seems to be really quiet. It does put out a good power that is good for all your sensitive electronics. So, you know, you seen me test it with a oscilloscope, and it put out a good clean sine wave. But anyways, this is a good generator just to keep around the house, you know, in case of an emergency, or, you know, it's light enough weight where you could, you know, throw it in the bed of the truck and you know, use it to, you know, if you was to go camping or something like that, to power an electric griddle or something to cook breakfast on, or, you know, if you want to power some lights, or even a small air conditioning unit. You can run like a little 5,000 BTU unit air conditioner with it. Anyways, I want to wrap this video up. If you're interested in this product, like I said, I'll put a link for it down in the description. And this is from a company called LIFAN. This is the 2300i-2. So this one here is rated at 1800 running watts and 2000 rated watts. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, see ya.